Our top line story this morning, Newmont Mining has formally rejected Barrick's all-stock $17 billion takeover offer, saying its tie-up with Goldcorp is a better deal. But Newmont is also inviting its rival to team up in Nevada. Joining us on the phone line from Denver is the CEO of Newmont Mining, Gary Goldberg. Gary, thanks very much for joining us. And I think for some, maybe they weren't surprised to see the rejection. But going further, Newmont questioned Barrick's culture and governance, cited some disdain for the process and oversight at the company, even put a slide in your presentation about what you see as the value destruction at Barrick under John Thornton. Why did you make those moves?
John and Amber, thanks for having me this morning. At the end of the day, it's all about delivery, and Newmont has delivered solid business results under our operating model for the last 6 years. And that's what shareholders need to take into account when they look at our proposed acquisition of Goldcorp, where we're saying we can achieve over $4.4 billion in value for Newmont shareholders going forward. And what we also wanted to do was acknowledge the fact that a pair-up with Barrick would expose Newmont shareholders to very risky assets and a very risky operating model, and that there's a better way to do that through a joint venture structure that can deliver the value of the synergies out of our Nevada operations.
Is there anything Barrick could do to change your mind? Because it sounds like from all the things you go through that just offering a premium would not be enough.
You know, at the end of the day, I think what's best is for us to sit down together with Barrick to take a look at what the value potential would be. We've offered a structure to best deliver that, and in the meantime, we're going to continue to pursue the value opportunity with Goldcorp.
Is this at all going to change your own timeline? Mark Bristow, as you know, said, quote, Gary Goldberg's not in place for long by his own admission, referencing the fact that you essentially are on your way out of the company. Have you changed your own timeline based on everything that's unfolded recently?
You know, I'm in place here to see this transaction through to completion and make sure it's well underway in the integration process, which we expect to have happen in the fourth quarter of this year. The thing that we have at Newmont is a solid pipeline of qualified people. I've been working, Tom Palmer's been running our operations globally for the last 3 years, which gives him about 3 years more experience than Mark has in running a global operation. He sits in a good spot to be able to take over the reins as we make that transition eventually, but I'm here to see things through to make sure they get well in place before moving on.
Gary, I think I heard another shot directed at Mark. I mean, it has been testy to say the least. So you say you are going to sit down with them now and have a further discussion, but how's that going to unfold? When are you going to talk, and when are you guys going to be able to put some of these disagreements to the side so you can figure out whether or not there's a realistic deal that can be reached here?
We have made a proposal to them, John, to sit down. I made an offer to John as I shook his hand as he went on stage at BMO last week and told him we need to talk. I look forward to hearing from him and being able to sit down and move this constructively going forward.
Barrick has called the Goldcorp assets Tier 2, and in fact, we spoke with the founder of Goldcorp, Rob McEwen, who agreed that Barrick's assets were better than Goldcorp's assets. Do you dispute that characterization of Goldcorp assets as Tier 2, or do you think that you can do more with them to create shareholder value, despite the fact that they may be lower in quality or grade?
Yeah, our view, and we've done some very detailed diligence across the entire Goldcorp portfolio, we see those assets at Goldcorp in a similar place as to where our assets were 5 years ago. In applying our approach to running assets as we've successfully delivered the improved value across Newmont over the last 5 years, we can do the same with Goldcorp's assets. That's the $365 million a year we see in both synergy and our continuous improvement program that we believe we'll be able to ramp up and have delivering to our shareholders by the second year of completing the integration with their assets. We really see great potential. We see cornerstone assets in those assets going forward to match our current cornerstone assets, and it's complementary. Fits well within our portfolio and well within our operating model and ability to deliver value to shareholders.
And do you hear that from your own shareholder base? One of the other things that Barrick says is when you look at how Newmont shares performed the day you announced it in contrast to how Barrick and Randgold performed the day they announced their deal, it signals that shareholders are not thrilled with your purchase of Goldcorp.
You know, measuring performance in one day versus the quality delivery we've done over the last half a decade, I just don't see the logic in that.
So you said you had a handshake with John at the BMO conference. What did he say? What was his response to you?
This was with Mark, to be clear.
With Mark, okay.
He was going up on stage, so I'm sure he was preoccupied with what he was going to present.
You did talk about the absence of diversity in leadership at Barrick versus Newmont. Can you just shed more light on what exactly you were trying to get at there?
Well, I look at the quality of our leadership team, the quality of our board, and better business results are a product of having a good, diverse management team and a good, diverse board. That's proven.
Do you dislike John Thornton? And I ask that because you put in your slide, you know, the share performance of Barrick tied with his compensation. That seems very overt to, you know, going beyond just trying to convince a few shareholders. How personal is this for you?
This is all about stating the facts and getting the missing facts out there.
And we mentioned earlier that you also included that slide highlighting past emails from Mark with respect to the quality of Goldcorp's assets. What was your goal in putting that into your presentation?
Well, I understand Mark has been out there saying bad things about Goldcorp's assets, and this was to set the record straight. He was telling Ian Telfer, the chairman of Goldcorp, back in May 2017, that Ian had assembled a strong portfolio of assets located in world-class districts, which he goes on to say was a testament to the company's assets and potential. I don't know what's changed in his view of those assets other than he sits in a different position today.